say hi to Facebook. Good morning, Facebook. How are you doing? Saturday morning. We're going to do chocolate pudding. I know, right? This is actually one of my favorite things. Good morning. I love your handle. Oh God, you guys, I'd age myself. Child of God, I love your name. Good morning. Good to see you. Okay, so yesterday on a live we did the egg white protein powder bread. And remember, I bought the wrong egg white protein powder. I bought the chocolate. And so we made chocolate bread and it was amazing because remember, we make grain-free, sugar-free food to like have low blood sugar spikes, right? Because we attack everything insulin resistance. I'm sure you guys know that. But anyway, today I wanted to make the sugar-free chocolate pudding because you guys, it's so good. And this is like, the inspiration behind a lot of these recipes is Maria Emmerich, Emmerich. And so when I've used these on a regular basis, you guys, this has been such a great hack for me to trade out my own ingredients. So being Italian and all, that's kind of how that goes. So anyway, hold on. I'm going to grab my stool before I start working, because I've got you positioned so that you can see what I'm making here when I make it. So literally this is done in the blender. It's using egg whites and it's all real ingredients, you guys. So what happens is you get this homemade sugar-free pudding that is so yummy. So yummy. Okay, so if you don't know who I am, my name is Kirsten Liebelt, Oklahoma. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. We drove through Oklahoma. Actually, it's been a year ago because we were on our way down to Dallas. So look at there. So interesting. That was really fun. You guys have a lot of like tolls. We had to figure out the whole toll thing. But anyway, okay. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Kirsten Liebelt. And I basically, nope, I'm going to get rid of my stool. I'm not going to do that because then you guys can't see me as well. I want you to see me a little bit better. So I basically was raised Italian. And I turned back my own insulin resistance starting in my 40s, but it wasn't because I had any wisdom, like zero wisdom, zero knowledge, zero understanding. I didn't even know insulin resistance was a terminology. Just saying. So what my journey was in the end is a journey that can give other people hope, because you can absolutely turn this around and you can actually make gains in your progress. Yesterday I jumped on the phone with with one of my customers who her testimony is that she started the Trio 3 months ago. Those are the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. She's off of 2 BP meds. Now you have to understand, we don't make claims, right? We never do that. But when you can turn back your insulin resistance, which is the core of everything, I'm telling you, other good things begin to happen. And she's lost 10 pounds. Which doesn't stink, because when you finally deal with your insulin resistance, you can actually lose weight, because you can't lose weight if your sugars or your insulin is high. So for me, being raised by a type 2 dad that was insulin dependent, I thought it was genetic. A lot of obesity and type 2 in my family. Being Italian, this is very normal. And I just assumed that it was just going to be what it was. And I literally didn't do anything about it all the way from my 20s when I was gestational diabetic to my 40s. I didn't do anything. So me of little knowledge, me eating everything white and everything Italian that I could get my hands on all the way through my 30s and into my 40s. It wasn't until my mom would not leave me alone about my sugars. God bless her. Seriously. I often think about what would have happened had she not been so annoying in my life. And so maybe that kind of inspires me to come on every day and talk about insulin resistance and the fact that you can turn it around, because it's not something that's being touted usually in the matrix, so to speak, right? We don't hear that very much. And so, but it can be. This is not a terminal diagnosis. So my story is that I started with targeted supplements, and then I traded out my food ingredients, and I learned things like this. You guys, this is a really good pudding. So I'm going to start making it and tell you what I'm putting in it. You can actually screenshot this. Are you ready for a screenshot? This is super simple. This is very easy. Real food. You guys, my husband says this is like chocolate pudding that he was served as a little boy. Okay, so just take a picture of this, and Instagram. I know this is backwards and you're going to have to screenshot it and turn it around in your camera is what you have to do. And TikTok, it's probably the same thing. You probably have to screenshot it. Actually, you can see it right there too. And then turn it around inside of your camera. You can rotate it. Okay. And then Facebook, you're good to go. But there, that's what that looks like. And that's what we're going to make. And how many ingredients is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ingredients. It honestly, you don't have to go and buy toxic, sugar-free Jell-O pudding that has aspartame in it just so that you can feel like you're having something yummy and creamy and chocolatey. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get working and then you can keep on asking questions and I will look and see what your questions are and answer you as I go. But let's make some chocolate pudding, you guys. And then we can do some Q&A on insulin resistance as well. How does that sound? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, this is very exciting. So basically what I did was I took a pint of egg whites and I already cooked them up. So this is what that looks like. And this is how you end up getting a very high protein pudding. Okay. Super easy. Every one of you could do this today. Today. Okay. So here are my egg whites. It's a little hot. There we go. That's 1 pint of egg whites cooked up. You can cook them however you want. Sometimes I cook them. You could cook them on the stove. I've cooked them in my Instant Pot. Or microwave. Okay. Now I'm going to take 1 can of coconut milk. Now, when you go to, show that to Facebook that way. 1 can of coconut milk, and then I'll show you guys over here. When you go to Walmart or wherever you go, there are 3 different areas in the store that you can actually find coconut milk, and the prices vary greatly. So this was in the baking aisle, okay? And it looks hard on the top, but it's very liquidy inside. So you'll see that happen right now when I pour this in here. I want to make sure Facebook can see what I'm doing. All right, so here we go. See, it has that liquid in there. Now this is dairy-free. You could make this with dairy, but I'll tell you that when you are doing eating this way so that you're looking for fat loss. I've gone from a 2X down to a large in my 50s after my cycle stopped. Going dairy free, even though I'm not completely, but substituting dairy when you can is very helpful because dairy can be very stalling to your weight loss. Okay, now the next ingredient. So egg whites, coconut milk. Let's do a 1/2 cup of sweetener. I'm going to use Swerve. You can use whatever you want. The sweeteners that I use generally are erythritol, stevia, monk fruit, and allulose. Yesterday when we made the bread, we did allulose. Remember, we used allulose because we wanted to have, we wanted the bread to brown. And allulose is what makes the bread brown. All right, now we're going to do a 1/4 cup of cocoa. All right. Now, I actually just went out and got cocoa from Walmart. And what you might not know is that, this one doesn't really say, and this is actually a product of the Netherlands, cocoa powder. So this is just regular. But when you buy unsweetened chocolate, I love giving this tip out. When you go to the baking aisle at Walmart and you buy the unsweetened chocolate, it's actually a chocolate liqueur and it tastes really good. So I don't know who they're contracted with for their unsweetened chocolate or what name brand that they're slapping their great value brand on, but I'm telling you, that's a really good hack. It's a good tip for today. So 1/4 cup of cocoa. Okay. Now we're going to add some vanilla right here. I usually do about a tablespoon. It says 2 teaspoons, but I'm an overuser when it comes to vanilla. It really brings out the flavor in the chocolate, right? And a little bit of salt. You got to have salt to bring out the chocolatiness, the sweetness. Just about a 1/2 teaspoon, a little bit. And then we'll do a little bit of cinnamon. I think this is probably what really brings out a little bit of flavor also. So just a little bit of cinnamon. All right, I'm going to blend this, and I am going to blend it for just a minute here, because I really want to get those egg whites to be very, very blended in. I don't want them to be chunky inside of here, okay? So hold on. Okay, so let's look at this. Now, one of the things that I'm super interested in is you can kind of see how this one actually is pretty good in terms of being thick already, but I am fully convinced. Now, this one is pretty thick actually, so we're doing really good on this one. See how thick this is? Obviously, it's warm because the egg whites were warm. Can you see this, Facebook? See how this goes? It's super, super creamy, you guys. Like, this is that cook on the stove type of pudding. Now, I am very convinced that I could easily, and maybe I'll do it just to see if it changes the flavor here. Let's do this for just a second. Let's see what we think here. I'm actually going to take a couple spoons out, and I'm going to taste this. Okay, and now I'm going to add in just a little bit of this egg white protein powder. You don't have to do this. I'm just being weird today because I bought this by accident. It's a chocolate protein powder. And I thought to myself, okay, so what if I'm making this and it turns out runny? Because I have some people say that. And it mostly has to do with, I'm going to show you. Usually it has to do with the coconut milk. Because the coconut milk oftentimes will have a guar gum in it or a xanthan gum. And if it doesn't have that in there, if it's just coconut extract and water, this is super watery. And people are like, well, how do I thicken that up? And I've always said, like, just use xanthan gum. But the truth is that what if you added this protein powder? Because you're adding in more, excuse me, you're adding in more egg whites. However, I'm thinking to myself, I'll bet that would be, and it wouldn't have to be chocolate. It could be regular, but I wonder if that would actually thicken it up better even. Okay, I want to get that mixed in there. Oh, you guys, this is so good. I want to see if it changes the flavor. The egg white or the chocolate egg white protein powder smells like Nestle Quick. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm going to taste it, see if it changed it. It did. Oh my gosh, that's so good. All right, we're going to pour this in ramekins and we'll put it in the fridge See if everybody can see what I'm doing. I think you can. And here's your cook and serve, so to speak, pudding. And then you just put it in the fridge. High protein, sugar-free. This one happens to be dairy-free, which for me, that makes me happy. I'm not completely dairy-free, but when I can trade out, I do that. This original recipe came from Maria Emmerich, and she uses hard-boiled eggs, full hard-boiled eggs. She uses, like, you're not using just the egg whites. So that her original recipe looks a little different. But this one, somebody in one of her groups had recommended using egg whites. And once I tried that, I have to get that out there with my spatula. Once I tried that, I got very excited because it's just that the egg whites, they were less pungent than the full hard-boiled eggs. And now again, just think about custard. Custard is eggs. So there's nothing wrong with that, right? And that's actually a really good, that would be a good fat in there, all that good stuff. I just don't like the smell. So once I started using egg whites, I just never went back. That's just what I'm doing. But you guys, this is like amazing. All right. I'd love to know who's already tried this before. This is so the Facebook group is Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And every month we have a challenge. And during the challenge, we do a recipe. So if you're already in the group, if you go up to the search bar, you'll see, and you search egg white pudding or chocolate pudding, you'll find me doing this in the group so that you have access to that for free, of course. And I mean, the whole group is free. And you can find recipes like this that are more, how do I say, better ideas for your weight loss help. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of the time somebody will say, I've been doing dirty keto and it's been stalling me out. And the answer is yes. Dirty keto just is, all it does is it keeps you frustrated because you can't seem to move forward, because the goal is to literally lose fat, not muscle, which is my biggest concern with people who are on the shots. Women, we do not want to lose muscle. That's a very, very big conversation, because, get another spoon. I'm actually going to have some. Hold on. Set these over there so people can see them. There we go. All right. Now I'll get my stool and we can chat. You don't want to lose muscle. You want to lose fat. So hold on. I'll switch to Facebook first. There we go, you guys. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Turn you guys around. Oh, you almost tipped over Instagram. It takes a village to like do these things. Okay. So that's really, it's one of my biggest concerns, for real. Like I'm not even joking. And I feel like I've had enough nurses verify it for me now that because sometimes I just can, like, I just think about these things. I'm like, oh, this is sugar-free chocolate pudding made with egg whites. That's what this is. And I can show you, if you want to screenshot, here's the recipe for you. So when I heard about a lot, when you're losing a lot of weight fast, you don't want to be losing muscle mass. Losing muscle mass is so concerning, especially for us women. And I think the reason why it's heightened for me, good morning. Oh, good morning, Millie. Good morning. Good to see you. I know that we want to lose weight at all costs. I know that we want to do that. But the truth is that you actually, when I took care of my mom with dementia, I realized that the last thing that you want to do, yes, I can show you, this is the pudding. Can you see this? So this is the recipe. I know you'd have to screenshot it and then turn it around in your camera. Okay. But my mom, when we took care of her with dementia, it was imperative that she did not have muscle loss, right? Like you can't be taken care of in somebody's home if you have muscle loss and you can't stand or walk. Okay. That doesn't work very well. Right. So here I am, 59 years old. Do you think I'm thinking about muscle mass? You bet I am. I'm thinking about how I want to maintain my muscle mass, how I want to eat enough protein every day in order to like keep my muscle mass. I'm thinking about like, how can we strengthen our muscles? I just recently, it's so good, you guys. We just recently went to, so, I talk about how my journey started with targeted supplementation, not knowing anything about supplements at all. Like supplements to me was literally ibuprofen and a weight loss med that got banned at Walmart because of the ephedra. Does anybody remember ephedra or Dexatrim? Or the one that I took was Metabolife. But anyway, that was my idea of supplementing. So anyway, when I first started to supplement, I was very like targeted because I wasn't even taking a daily, you guys. I wasn't doing anything. Now, a little over 10 years later, this is my world. I take supplements instead of meds. I'm 59, no meds. My dad had a Lazy Susan full of them. But in June, when we went to, we got to see the actual plant, or we got to see the actual headquarters. And because they use like organic farming and all that good stuff. But anyway, one of the experts was talking to us during a luncheon thing, and he was saying they have now, studies are showing that your longevity is actually tied to your quad muscles, like your leg muscles. I thought that was fascinating. So I'm like, oh, I better do something about that because that hasn't been in my wheelhouse. Is anybody good at working out? He goes, never skip leg day. Yes, Anna. Good morning. It's so good, you guys. Good morning, Anna. Yes, it is the egg white. Yes, you can see if I didn't show it, or if you missed it, here it is. You can screenshot it and then turn it around in your camera roll. Okay. Super easy. The egg whites, you cook them. I should have written that on there. You cook the egg whites. Okay. Like you can cook them in the microwave. You can cook them in, I've done mine in the Instant Pot a lot, in like a round container on a trivet. You can cook them on the stove. It doesn't matter. You're cooking the egg whites and you're getting them kind of nice and firm and done so that you can, literally what we did, we just did this in the blender. All of this was in here, was in the blender. I mean, this is easy, you guys. And I do want to remind you, I could have boosted the sweetness and I didn't, but you could. I have these sweet leaf stevias. I've never bought them like this in a 6-pack before, but whatever, I just did. I could have boosted it with a squirt of caramel, a squirt of vanilla, but that doesn't make sense to me. I could have boosted it with just plain stevia. Or yesterday I used the coconut to add to my egg white bread. Or this one is chocolate, so I could have made it chocolatier, but I don't, again, whatever. And then that's caramel again. So you can boost the sweetness also, because I know that some of you, when you are transitioning your foods, if you are like me, when I was transitioning my foods, first of all, it took me a couple years. Second of all, I had a lot of carb blocker in my pockets while I did it. So I know that a lot of people, when you pick up the trio, you add the carb blocker. And I do recommend that if you feel like you're having a hard time transitioning your carbohydrates, okay? Just because that was me. But I wanted to go on my own journey, okay? So anyway, but sometimes when we're transitioning from sugar, corn syrup, and things that are super, super sweet, we do something like this and we think, well, that's not sweet enough for me. That's okay. Just grab yourself a liquid stevia. I got these off of Amazon, but you could get these at, well, I don't know, maybe a different brand. You could get them at like, Walmart or whatever. I actually don't know. Somebody said, Julie, who jumps on here usually, Julie said that she saw a version, and I haven't seen the ingredients, at Aldi's, a liquid stevia. So that's a really good tip right there. Hold on just a second. No, Nellie, they are liquid egg whites. Thank you for asking. I am curious though, if you could do this with powdered egg, the powdered egg whites, like you probably could. I just haven't figured that out. So I use liquid egg whites, 1 pint, and then I cooked them completely. And then I made the pudding. Okay. And hold on. Cheryl says she's on the shot, but she's not losing weight fast at all. When dose was increased 2 weeks ago, I started losing muscle. Oh, Cheryl, I'm so sorry. I literally looked up and now I have a saggy tush and saggy legs. Didn't notice because I sit 95% of my day. Yeah, I'm sorry. I honestly, you guys, these are really, there's a better way. And for people who are in, Cheryl, I don't know that you're paying for this, but shoot, I don't have a way to take a screenshot of that. Hold on. I don't know if everybody is paying $1,000 a month for that or $1,200 a month. But I suspect that some people are paying. And I mean, that's when I have talked to people like in my world. Some of y'all are paying $1,000 to $1,200 a month for that. And I get it. 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 Like if I could have lost weight faster, if I could have whatever faster, I would have been so happy, right? But like what she's saying is she's not losing weight. So she's on it, not losing weight, and they increase the dose, and now she's losing muscle mass. And this is just, we have to think beyond. So, okay, let me talk about the track that I offer people or that I talk about as opposed to, let's see if I can, that's so weird. Here we go. Let's just talk about something different. There we go. Okay, the reason why is this. I am very convinced, number one, that women are sliding into their 40s, just like me, insulin resistant, just like me, don't know it, just like me. And you're having such a hard time either losing weight or you're gaining weight and you don't understand why. Well, insulin resistance is literally the process of overconsumption of carbohydrates over a long period of time. Mine was for 20 freaking years. It was for a very long time, you guys, that I didn't do anything about it. Okay. So I'm increased protein. Yes, yes, yes. Definitely increased protein. You're welcome, Susan. You're going back to the lower dose. Your insurance is covering it. Okay. Good to know, Cheryl. So you're raising you're constantly spiking your sugars and your body is fearfully and wonderfully made. And so your pancreas, if you can hear that the vacuuming is going on, I apologize. As you're increasing your pancreas will keep on letting out insulin in order to grab the sugar and shuttle it into your cell. So every time you raise your sugars, whether or not you're eating cornflakes, which will raise it high with skim milk, or whether you're eating a Snicker bar, or whether you're drinking a Starbucks drink, or whether you are you're eating oatmeal, any grain, it's going to spike high. And your insulin is going to come and it's going to gobble it up and it's going to try to shuttle it into your cell so that you have energy and you have fuel. It's like putting wood into a wood fire. Okay. But when you are insulin resistant, your cell shut the door. It says, I'm stuffed. No, thank you. And your body is like, but I know how to function at a really high level. And so what happens then is your pancreas says, thank you for all the hearts, you guys, on TikTok. I so appreciate you. Your body is going to keep on making insulin because that's its job. I must not have made enough insulin. I'm going to make more. And so it makes more. So it keeps on making more. So it can keep on trying to shuttle. But when the cell says no, insulin goes, well, I'm pretty much a fat storing hormone. So let's just store this as fat. That's why we end up with all of these weird pockets of fat, like on our arms and on the inside of our knees, our belly fat. That's an obvious one. It's the belly fat, right? That's the insulin. That's the cortisol. And we end up with fat, like back fat. Oh, dear Lord, the back fat, right? And we hate this. And so we actually don't want to lose weight. We actually want to lose fat. It's the fat that you're wanting to lose. So if you're losing weight, it could be water weight. It could be impacted waist. It could be muscle. Weight is not the goal. Fat loss is the goal. Deborah, good morning. I agree with you 200%. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Good morning. Yeah. Happy Saturday, Renee. Oh, good to see you. Renee. See, if I come on different days, it's still the same time, but I do Monday through Friday, you guys, live at 10 p.m. I'd be tired. I could try it, see who shows up. 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And this weekend, I'm just doing some extra bonus, like we just did some chocolate pudding. And, but anyway, and then there's also a Facebook group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And you can get in there. And when you do, you'll get tagged in a free PDF that has some recipes, snack ideas, and pantry. Okay. So their track that they give you, the matrix, so to speak, they are, hey, Tony, good to see ya. They basically they give you a bad food pyramid. I'm just telling you, nutritionists give you a bad food pyramid because it's the one we were all given. And then when you are pre-diabetic, they put you on scripts. The first one is usually MET. The second one is usually HBP. The third one, balloons. The third one is usually an STATIN. And then the fourth one is usually an anti-sadness. And then they tell you, you are normal. And they constantly tell you over and over again, you are normal. You are common. You are average. Because most people in their 50s are on 3 scripts. So what are you worried about? You're normal. You're common. You're average. That is unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. That is not a good track to run on. Let's do something completely different. So this is what I have talked about now for a long time. The challenge that we're doing in August, you guys, it starts Monday, August 12th. I go live 2 p.m. Central Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday. We talk about insulin resistance and ingredient trade-outs. I take you into my pantry and my fridge. There's my pantry right there. Take you into my pantry. You can't see it as much. Facebook, you can't see it at all, but you guys can. Pantry and then fridge, and then we'll do a recipe and all of that good stuff, okay? But I do that so that you can actually have a track to run on. So what I talk about is, let's start with, instead of starting with a bad food pyramid, we now have to turn back around insulin resistance. We have to do something to get our body to function at a completely different level. Sometimes it is super simple nutritional deficiencies. You guys, this is not rocket science, and this is not a terminal conversation. For those who it is, for people who have maybe C, that's a bigger difference, right? Thank you for the follow, Jackie. MET is the first thing they always use. Yep. Food pyramid is not good. You have to work when I'm live during the week. I know, Renee. I know. I'll have to throw in some like later evening ones, like late night ones for sure. Seriously. I wanted my husband to hear you say hi, Tony. Thank you so much. You guys are so fun. You make my day. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so basically I talk about the trio all the time. I talk about targeted supplementation because that's where I started. But you guys, that's where the testimonies are. And I always tell you, please don't take my word for it. Like, for real, don't. I'm the one that avoided type 2 in my family. Now, it's because of where I started with the trio, but still, I can't give you the data. But you guys give me the data. So if everybody would shift over to, you can do two things. On Instagram, at the top, there's a pink highlight bubble. And it has testimonies in it, and you can read those, okay? That's number one. Number two, if you're already in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, guide number four, testimony. And I did not think that, okay, so I did not think that I could really legitimately talk about this online for a very long time, and I didn't. I stopped myself for a long time. I was doing this locally for quite a while. And it wasn't until I had a guy who was a customer of mine, and he said, order me some more of those diabetes pills. Now, of course, I'd never make that claim. I'm just telling you what he said. And I'm like, wow, it's working for him too. This is interesting. And I began to research, just like I had begun to research when adaptogenic herbs that I started at the same time. I started two things at the same time. Me, who was never a supplement taker, go figure. I started taking supplements for my sugars and supplements for my brain fog, but they were adaptogenic herbs and I didn't understand what they were going to do for me. Okay, so that's another conversation, even though it's the same one because it's all hormonal. That's the purple packet that I talk about. But I started doing that, and basically not only did it clear up my brain fog and help me with like mental clarity, it also, adaptogenic herbs have helped me with the sadness that can come. And I just use that word because I don't want to use the D word because censorship. Sadness that can come when your hormones go upside down, just like when you're postpartum. Okay, so it helped with that. It helped. So therefore your mood, your mind, all of those things. But then eventually it helped to balance out my hormones. I didn't know this because it was helping my adrenals. And I never had a hot flash, and now I'm 59. Okay, back to the other ones that I started, which were for my sugars. And so when I started doing that, I had no idea. And so it took me a long time to get up enough courage to come online and talk to all of you wonderful, amazing strangers, literally from across the United States and Canada. I know there are a lot of other countries, but you're the ones that I talk to the most because you can be my client base as opposed to other countries. Okay, so having said that, because in the group, there's lots of people from like, oh, I don't know, Africa and Australia and England and all over, Ireland. Anyway, I had a pharmacist from Ireland comment on one of my videos the other day, and she's just like, thank you, because they can see it. They can see what's going on with the PHARMA. Jackie, thank you so much. I do have really good skincare. But yes, and probably also too, TikTok probably has a filter on me, and I don't mean to. Like, I don't ever do Botox. You can see I never. Obviously, I would look differently if I actually did Botox, but I have not. Substituting things can improve things. I helped my late BF lower A1C best friend from 10 to 7. Nice, Renee. Do you see how helpful that is? So if you can get your BP to go in a different direction, your A1C to go into a different direction, your fasting insulin to go into a different direction, your weight, that's the one we want the most, right? These all can change. So my track is, let's talk targeted supplementation. I got to make sure Instagram can see me. I'm going to teach you ingredient food trade outs, and then I'm going to do a challenge every month in the group. And this is our 15th challenge. We've been doing this 15 times, you guys, almost 15 times now. And so what now I can see is the nice, beautiful longevity of people who have chosen to give me their data of not just pounds lost, but also all of your blood tests. And that makes me so happy. So happy. Yes, Met is that, Deb. Correct. Thank you for asking that. Yep. I'm very careful, especially on the tickety talk, because you'll get flagged and they'll just turn you off if you talk about certain things, because there's a lot of powers that be. So that's kind of how that goes. And that should make us question all by itself, right? Like, we're not confused, are we? Is anybody actually confused as to the power of that particular industry? Yeah. It's pretty high. And it's so fascinating to me how, like, I met somebody, total stranger online, but she lives 15 minutes from me, which is so cool. So we met up for coffee the other day, and I was delivering some product to her, but we were talking about, so she's been a nurse. There are so many nurses that connect with me in my world. And I think it's because you guys see the inside of what's going on. And that to me is very telling. When that first started happening, I was like, what the heck? Why all the nurses? But that's why, because you guys see the inside of the PHAR. And it's like, those aren't answers, you guys. Those are symptom helpers. That was my conversation in my head after my dad died. So he was 63. I'm 59. So he was very, very young, you understand. And when he died, after all of the heart procedures, after all of the heart surgeries, after all of the 2 years of dialysis, etc., I wanted to know, wait a second. He had a lazy Susan full of meds. Why? Didn't this reverse anything? Didn't this heal anything? Didn't this help anything? And the answer is no. No, that's not the goal of that particular product. It's just not. The goal is to help you with a symptom, and then another symptom, and then another symptom, and then another symptom. And the base core conversation of all of these symptoms is insulin resistance. So let's get the inside of your engine functioning so that you can go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. That's where all the testimonies come from. Being able to go from like, okay, I'm type 2. I have been working with my doc for 3 years. I got my A1C down, but I can't lose 1 pound. And my morning sugars are still high. Starts the trio last September. In 2.5 months, 30 points down in the morning and lost 14 pounds. It's not a gimmick. It's literally filling in gaps. It's filling in nutritional deficiencies. It's not a gimmick. It's not a marketing ploy. This is just science of basic things. And so anybody at any time, I literally make sure that my contact information is readily available. On Facebook, you guys can always message. You can drop stuff in the messages, and maybe I don't see them when I'm on live because StreamYard is weird. And they give me every other. I mean, it's just crazy. But I can go back on those videos and I can see your questions. I can see you saying, you want the trio, or like if we're talking about gut health or ashwagandha or whatever it is, you put stuff in the comments. That's perfect. TikTok and Instagram, after I close out my lives, they go away. I can't see the comments anymore. And so you have to get into my inbox. So Instagram, that's easier right there. TikTok, you either have to jump over, or there is a number on, if you go to my profile up here, well, the number's right there. I remembered to do that today. Do you know that I have forgotten to do that like forever? I don't put it up here. This is why you can text that number. And you can literally say, I was on your live and you were talking about this. I have a question. Or if you just want the 3 supplements, you can just text trio to that number. Makes it very easy for you guys. You're also a nurse. Yep. You guys, it's like a bee to honey or something like that. I'm trying to think of my analogy, but I just attract nurses all the time, and it's just like, so I am obviously very health and wellness focused, right? And being a part of like a health and well-being company, it's like, Nurses, it's like this natural conversation to have with nurses. It's really quite amazing. I'm going to pull up my site. Just, yeah, we've helped a lot of nurses make extra income. All right. So my site, hold on. I'm going to show you what it looks like when you pull it up, just so that you know that you found the right place. Okay. Okay. So my site is my first and last name, kirstenliebelt.com. I'm going to show you how to find the Facebook group. Okay. It's giving me whatever. Okay. So this is what it looks like. I want to see if everybody can see it. Nope, you can't. I'll have to show it one at a time. So this is Facebook. This is my site. You'll see my before and after picture. You guys already can see it up there. Okay. There's a number right there. That number, you can text me. And you can say you talked about this, or you talked about this, or because my whole goal is to actually help you. Thank you so much for the hearts, you guys, is to help people customize what it is for you. Do not have a supplement cupboard full of supplements like your makeup drawer. Some of you actually text me pictures. I love it. I am such a geek about this. I love it. But you don't have to do that. You can actually have somebody help you navigate, get exactly what you need and not what you don't need. Like, let's do that. Let's get you some pennies, going in the right direction. So if you scroll like this is what I want to show you. One page, scroll like this, and see that Facebook button right there. That's how you get into the Facebook group. And underneath there's a free PDF, some keto salads that you can grab if you want. So here, I'll show you guys. So when you get on my site, this is what it looks like. And it's my first last name.com. I can maybe get you all three, sort of. That's my number. Just text me. You can just text Trio there, and you'll get information just on the Trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. That's where I started, and I still take them to this day. And I can explain why in just a second if you want me to. But you just scroll like this and look at the Facebook button right there. Right there. Get in. August 12th through the whatever it is, Monday through Friday. And there's the salads if you care. And we will go through, like, anybody who will become their own advocate. If you are finally ready, I had somebody text me yesterday. Oh my gosh, you guys, you just don't know what this does for me. Texted me yesterday. I should be more prepared with my screenshots, because when I do this, I use up all my devices, so I can't look things up. I've been following for a year, and I just ordered the Trio. I've been following you for a year, and I just ordered the Trio, and I'm so excited for my journey. I'm telling you, you guys, it lights me on fire, because if I can help one person every day that I go live, one person just make the decision, I'm going to be my own advocate. I'm actually going to take back my body, and I'm actually going to feel better so that I can, and maybe you're not thinking this far, but this is what's happened to me. Take back my body so that I can feel better, so that I can actually do things that I haven't been able to do. I've been so exhausted to do that I chose not to do them. So therefore, by default, I'm making more memories. I am making more memories with my grandbabies. I'm making more memories with my husband of 37 years coming up in August. I'm making more memories with my adult children. I'm making more memories because I feel good enough to travel. I'm making more memories in just a million ways. All because of the base core conversation of insulin resistance, doing the turnaround. Let's do the turnaround. One of the things is that you turn it around and you stop aching so much. Your inflammation comes down. I should say it this way. Your inflammation comes down, which can lead to feeling better in your joints. Okay, so I'm 59 and I wake up every single morning and I do not ache. Not on any meds. I do not ache. What a gift. What an absolute remarkable gift to be able to wake up and feel good. I'm just saying. So the other day on my live, I'm going to be better about my screenshots. I'm sure that I posted it in my stories and it's in the pink highlight bubble at the top of my Instagram. So you can go to you'll see the pink highlight bubble and you'll touch on it and you'll see across the top, like there's so many. You can go towards the end to find this one. And she said, I'll double check. She started the trio 3 weeks ago and her pain. Now this is her story. And I'm sure it's connected to her inflammation. So I'm not talking about the trio in terms of help your, like this takes away your pain. This is not a pain reliever conversation. This is an inflammation conversation and a liver functioning conversation. Okay. But her results and her story is that she was ran over by a car when she was 16, when she was riding a bike. And her pain has been great. And after 3 weeks on the trio, because of, I'm assuming it's an inflammation conversation and helping your liver to function at a higher level conversation, her pain is now, she couldn't believe it. So that's just her story. You found my site. You're so excited. Thank you. This is Tony. You're 68 years old. Tony, it's so nice to meet you. This is so nice to meet you. I'm glad you found my site. I'm so, so glad. And if you have questions, let me know. Again, that's why my number is available for people. You can text me and ask me questions, okay? Because this is what I know. A confused mind does nothing. Do you know? I mean, no, I'm not even going to say, do you know? You already know how much noise is out there. Come on, you guys. The marketing is obnoxious. Telling you that Cheerios is heart healthy is a joke. It is such a joke. Telling you that this is a keto product. This is a keto product. This is keto bread at Aldi's. Stop it. Stop it. Not if you want to feel good. Not if you want to actually lose weight. Not if you want to actually stop spiking your sugars. At some point, you have to wake up and go, I'm done. I'm done listening to what they're trying to sell me, because they're trying to sell me literally up a river. They're trying to sell me the end result. Thank you for all the hearts. You guys are so good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. They're trying to sell me PHARMA. That's what they're trying to sell me. And when you go back, they'll give you another one to add. If you've got one, they'll give you 2. And if 2 isn't enough, they'll maybe up a dose or they'll add another one. This is the way. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't pay attention. We have to pay attention. I'm the biggest advocate of, you have to be your own self-assessor. I'm just an Italian girl who figured it out. I'm not a doc. Like, we have to assess ourselves, but it's the best thing we could ever do. It feels so good to know my body after I was in my 40s and I was so disconnected from my body. I was so unaware on a personal level of my body and what my body was telling me on any given day. I was very disconnected. You don't pay attention to the commercials anymore. I am so glad. I just, it's so funny. We don't watch a lot of TV or anything. Last night we watched a movie. I think it was off of Prime or wherever it was. It was, I don't know, Pluto or I don't even remember where it was. Somewhere where they still have ads. Because I don't know. I literally do not watch any regular normal TV. So I don't know what the ads are out there. So it's very rare for me to see a pH ad. Like, and it was just like, oh my gosh, still. They've got the happy people. Oh, and they're having this happy family moment while the narrator is telling you how you are going to end up potentially with, you're going to, you could possibly lose your right eye and have your left foot amputated. And maybe there's going to be some diarrhea and digestion issues, and you might go mentally insane. However, if you ask your doctor about this particular something, this might help you short term. I mean, I'm literally like, I can't believe we're still doing this. I remember when they started these commercials all these years ago, and we would laugh and laugh. We thought that was so funny. Like, how ridiculous is that? Nobody's ever that's so stupid. And now we don't even hear it. We literally tune it out while we're watching the happy family pushing their children on their swings or whatever it is. And we're thinking, oh, I am going to go ask my doc about that Scooby-Doo pill. Like, what is wrong with us? And they're literally telling us side effects are stroke, heart attack, and sudden death. And we're like, well, you know what? If it could help me lose a couple pounds. I'm just saying, like, it's so ridiculous. And we have to see it for what it is. We have to. Like, this is so ridiculous. Lots of other countries don't do this. Yeah, it's like illegal. It used to be illegal here too, right? Like, pharmaceutical companies couldn't, there's no way. I should probably be careful about saying that word. Doggone it. Every now and then I slip. It used to be illegal to even advertise for those products because there's a vested interest in the profit of of overlooking the health of you for profit. Can I say that out loud? This is why you use an herbalist, Matt. Very good. See, when I found herbs, so yesterday I was on the phone with my latest favorite testimony. She actually, in the last 3 months of being on the trio, which has herbs in it, she's off of 2 BP meds and she's lost 10 pounds. Okay. So this is like amazing. So I'm on the phone with her and I'm talking to her about the ashwagandha because I have an ashwagandha that is phenomenal. I always have everything on me. So let me see. I'll show it to you. The ashwagandha. Do I have one in here? Yes, I do. Here we go. Just looks like this. Just a little capsule, right? So we're talking about this ashwagandha. And she said, yeah, ever since I've been taking it, she said, wow. And I go, well, tell me, what do you like about it? And she goes, I feel more joyful. My joy is making its way back because that's what herbs can do for you. And I will say, and I've said it before many times, please consider your source. Whether you're talking about the purple packet, which has 3 adaptogenic herbs and then all of your 8 B vitamins time released. That's where I started for my brain fog. And then it helped me balance out my hormones. That's on my site too. You can go look at that. But I'm just saying, like, please think about this. Let's just have a moment where we think about this. Okay. So they take an herb, they harvest it. And let's say this has been sprayed with glyphosate. Do you really want potent herbs that have been sprayed with glyphosate to go into your body and have your liver try to work on that? If we know that we should be eating organic foods, organic berries, organic greens, because you can't get the chemicals off, no matter how hard you try, you can't. And, and I'm not, never mind, I won't go down that line. Because I'm not perfect, for real. I'm not. Like, I'm an Italian girl who's like making steps every day, right? But I'm just saying, if we know this, consider the source of where your herbs are coming from, okay? I just want you to do that. So in my particular line, we're talking about over 6,000 organic farms. They're literally the only supplement company that grows their own herbs and plants and everything on their own organic farms. They're the only one that does this. Okay. And then they harvest and they turn it into your supplements, whatever. But so the efficacy there is the efficacy is there, the potency is there, but then so is the third party testing. And what does that mean to you? That means that, so for something to be NSF certified, what that means is that what's on the outside, because this is not FDA regulated. So what's on the outside of the bottle does not always have to, like, they can lie. But when they're third party tested and when they're certified, then what is on the outside of the bottle has to match what's on the inside of the bottle. But then it's even another level. It's even another layer. And I would just want you to consider this. Like, if you open up a bottle of supplements, there can be one pill in the same bottle as another pill. This one has 10% of the herb, and this one has 4 times the amount of the herb. So there has to be consistency within the same bottle. Has it ever dawned on you that that may not be true? That's where when you test all of the other brands and when you have third-party testing. So when she tells me that the ashwagandha is bringing back her joy, like her joy is making its way back, that's literally the way she said it. My joy is making its way back. That tells me that it's actually working, that she's not having a mental moment of a placebo. I'm just saying, like, when you take things that actually work inside of your body, they actually break down. They're not filled with a bunch of synthetic crap. It matters. And that just like, because that's what I experienced in my 40s, you guys, when I started with, it wasn't ashwagandha. I didn't know about ashwagandha. It was a different herb. It's the herb that's in the purple packet. And I'm just telling you, it's like, as women, when you are insulin resistant, the hormone insulin affects all of your other hormones, all of them. It turns them upside down. This is why our perimenopause can be so harsh. So in our minds, and you can tell me if this has been you, but in our minds, we can be like, this was me. So I'll just talk about me. What's wrong with me? Is this just what it's like to get old? Why am I feeling that anxiety right under the surface? Why am I feeling that sadness like I did after I had my babies? Where's that? What's going on? I mean, the weight sucks all by itself. That's a given. Already you're not happy. What I used to do isn't working for me anymore. I used to be able to count points. I used to be able to live in a calorie deficit. I used to be able to work out in the gym and drop weight. I used to be able to go for a run and like melt off the fat, whatever. I used to be able to do all these things. That wasn't me. I was not running. I'm just saying. These are other people. Other people might say those things. And now it's not working anymore. And you go to the doctor and they are not telling you, oh, you know what? Insulin is a hormone. So let's deal with this from that perspective. Nobody's telling you that, oh, your liver might be tired and toxic, so that might be why you're not losing weight. Nobody's telling you that. And nobody's telling you that your liver governs the glucose in your blood. Your liver governs your hormones. Your liver is your fat metabolizing organ. And if you do not take care of your liver, kiss and love your liver, you can't lose weight. If your insulin and your sugars are high, you can't lose weight and you're stuck like this on a hamster wheel. And you're like, what is wrong with me? But couple that with the whole perimenopausal conversation in your head where you're off. You are off. Your mood is off. Your thoughts are very different. Maybe you're having a lot of negative conversations with yourself or in your head about other people or whatever it is. And you're like, this isn't me. Where did me go? Where did I go? That's where I was. So when I understood, he's talking about herbs, when I understood about herbs, because I reverse engineered it, like, what the heck? Why is this? What? Not only like, can I multitask and my brain fog is whatever, but now this sense of well-being comes in. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Thank you for sharing, Lucy Lou. I love the name Lucy. Adaptogenic herbs. Good question, movie mama. I just want to read that first. They make more by keeping you on things. Being sick is frustrating. It is very frustrating. Thank you for the follow, Papa City. What else did I miss? And I'm going to answer that question. Okay. So adaptogenic herbs are herbs that help your body adapt to stress. So this is a really fun conversation. Okay. When I talk about the trio, those are not adaptogenic herbs. I'm going to clarify for you right now so nobody's confused because I know I'll get questions and I always want to make sure that I don't want to be a part of the noise. I want to be a part of the clarity. So the trio are 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. I literally started with them. They helped my body to function, like my engine inside of me to function on a different level. I still take them to this day because I'm still in engine maintenance. Like this is my I want my liver to function. I want my metabolism. I want my visceral belly fat to be under control. I want my insulin and my sugars to be where they need to be. Okay, that's the trio. You can always text me or say you want to know more information about the trio. Perfect. The adaptogenic herbs that I'm talking about, when I talk about whether it's the ashwagandha, because some people will say, I want to know about the trio, send me a cart with the trio and the ashwagandha in it. Send me a cart with the trio and the purple packet in it. Okay. So the adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha, or the purple packet has 3 different adaptogenic herbs in it. They help your body adapt to stress. And they go in and they support your adrenals. Your adrenals sit on top of your kidneys, and they help your kidneys or your adrenals regulate your hormones. So it's a really, really important conversation for women, because when our ovaries are like, oh, tapping out, our adrenals take over. And I was told, this is all like, God gave me pieces long before my brain knew anything. Like, I was told by a naturopath that I worked with, Kirsten, the way you go through menopause is the way you treat your adrenals. And I said, adrenal, what? Like, what's an adrenal? I had no idea. So when I started taking adaptogenic herbs, which were helping to support my adrenals, and I began to reverse engineer, like I researched, because like, why is this working? That's when I understood, oh, that's what she meant. And sure enough, that's what helped me navigate all of that. All of that. Glyna. So the purple packet actually has, it's one packet. I'll show it to you. It's one packet that looks like this, and it has 3 supplements in it. It has one that is an adaptogenic herb. I just dropped one. For Pete's sake. It has an adaptogenic herb in it. And then another one is actually for memory, and it has 2 more adaptogenic herbs. And then hold on, I got to get the one that I dropped. Don't mind me. It bounced. Here it is. Don't mind me. The third one is all of your 8B vitamins time released. So can you see that there's like a dark green and then a light green? Can you see that? Dark green and a light green. And that's because it gives you some of your B vitamins right away. And then over time, over like the next 8 hours, you're still getting B vitamins. And what a lot of women don't know is that when you are deficient in B vitamins, certain ones, you can have anxiousness and sadness. And I'm being careful on my words, you understand. Anxiousness and sadness. And so anyway, so this is something that I started at the same time that I was starting the trio. And just so that you can have clarity on the fact that I'm talking about 2 different things, because I don't want to confuse you. The trio looks like this. Here we go. All right. They just both happen to have 3 in them. It's just the way that it is. And you can always right there, that if you text that number right there, Glyna, all you have to do is say, you were talking about this purple packet thing. Will you send me a cart with that in it? And I will do that for you. Okay. So this is the purple packet, adaptogenic herbs, B vitamins, and this is the trio. And the trio are the 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. I'm just going to be super honest. This was all accidental for me over 10 years ago. It's not something I started last week. It's something I started over 10 years ago, but it was all accidental. It wasn't because I was wise. I am fully convinced that it's because God was giving me answers that I kind of like had an intention in my heart to figure out long before this ever showed up. And this all started because of my dad dying at 63 from type 2 diabetes. Being Italian just meant that there was type 2 and obesity all over my family. I could just tell you story after story after story. I mean, I think there are a lot of other cultures that agree with me, or, like food was celebration, food was mourning, food was everything. You have all these emotional connections to food and all of that stuff. And so it was so normal to me to be raised by somebody who was insulin dependent. Like I didn't think anything of it. Right. And so as my weight was gaining. I was insulin resistant in my 20s. And I didn't do anything about it. I was gestational diabetic with my first baby, hypoglycemic with my second, didn't do anything for 20 years, 20 freaking years. And so it wasn't because I was like, oh, I'm going to become a healthy person. I'm going to learn how to supplement, even though I've never supplemented before. No, no. I had a mother who wouldn't leave me alone. Praise God. And somebody showed up and said, hey, why don't you take a look at these? Why don't you pay attention to like helping your sugars? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, I'm just going to try this and see what happens, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like those were just God answers for me. And at the same time, I could not multitask because I'm in my 40s. My hormones are completely upside down because my perimenopause is full blown. And I am like, my brain fog is off the charts. No clue insulin is a hormone. No clue that my insulin is messing up the rest of my hormones. None of this even connects with me at all. But somebody says, hey, why don't you try this? And I'm like, oh, sure. And I went, oh, I can multitask. My brain fog is better. I have energy. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to take more of that because like, why wouldn't you? So I just did that for a few years. And then I realized it was actually balancing out my hormones because of my adrenals. I didn't know any of that stuff. I was very clueless, very, very clueless. So that's what is in the purple pack. I hope I answered that for you. But I do hope that somebody will. I'm going to show you the recipe one more time here because I don't want you to miss out. But the recipe is the chocolate pudding. It's homemade chocolate pudding, you guys. This is high protein made out of egg whites. And I think I can get it on all of you. And now it's kind of setting up. Look at how nicely that's setting up. Can you see that? You guys, this is so good. This is so freaking good. Isn't that crazy how that's set up like that? Why would you ever buy toxic, sugar-free pudding when you can make that? Why would you ever do that? So here's the recipe. You can screenshot this. And if anybody has any other questions, let me know. I don't want to leave anybody out on asking questions. You can screenshot that, you guys, and then flip it in your camera. I did it in a blender. The egg whites are cooked. You cook them like either in the microwave, on your stovetop, or I've done it even in my Instant Pot, like in a pan on a trivet. So Facebook, I'll give that to you one more time. You made chocolate pudding 2 days ago. It's so delicious. It is so good. It is so freaking good. So anyway, does anybody have any questions before I jump off? I always want to make sure you know a few things. The Facebook group is called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. You can jump in there and then you will eventually get tagged in a PDF that's free. And it has some recipes and some snacks and some pantry ideas. The next challenge is August 12th, Monday, August 12th. 5 days in a row. This is our 15th one. Monday through Friday, I will go live at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll do ingredient trade outs and I'll take you into my pantry and my refrigerator, show you kind of how I, as an Italian girl, traded out my stuff. Really helpful for some people to have a visual, because I'm a visual learner. So I figure other people are visual learners. And then if you need anything, you can always either drop comments on Facebook, because then I can come back and see them, or you can text this number right here, or Instagram, you can get into my inbox. But for TikTok, you can text that number. And if you just want to know about the 3 supplements, you can just text TRIO. But if you have a question and you're like, I would like a cart with the TRIO plus something or whatever, or you talked about this and I need to understand more. A confused mind does nothing. And the problem is that I tend to have, I'm overcoming regularly very strong self-sabotaging skills. And that's what happens. We self-sabotage. We know we're supposed to, we have an urge to reach out. We have an urge to ask a question, and then we allow ourselves to dismiss it. And sometimes it's just straight up self-sabotage. And so maybe today you choose not to self-sabotage and you actually do reach out. Just like yesterday, the lady who said, I have been watching you for a year, 1 year, and I just finally purchased the TRIO. I'm so excited. A year, right? We do that. I understand this very well. Very, 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 very well. Hold on. I think do whip the egg whites first before cooking them. Oh, interesting. I've never done that, Gail. Tell me about that. Oh, you're asking me if I whip the egg whites? I do not. But tell me if it's something else than that. Hey, Deborah, I'll answer for you. Yes, I think there are social media rules not to be more specific. Oh, yes, Cheryl, thank you. You know what? I have a feeling I have messages that are coming in late. Like I feel like I have some delayed messaging going on. StreamYard, what cart? So basically, I'm able to customize for people supplementation that they are needing. So you are on Instagram. So you're blessed and highly favored because at the top of my Instagram profile, if you go out to my profile, you'll see a pink highlight bubble at the top. And there are testimonies and testimonies and testimonies of the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. If you're like that, those testimonies are resonating with me, that's the direction I need to go. You can either like just go on and purchase something, but you can message me and say, I need a cart, like a shopping cart with the trio in it. And then maybe you're looking for something else. So then I can customize it for you so that you can look at exactly what you need and not what you don't need. So it might be the trio and the carb blocker, something like that. But that's what a cart is. It's a shopping cart. Make sure I didn't miss anything there. Oh, put the recipe closer to the camera. I will do that. Thank you. Just take a screenshot and then you can turn it around in your phone. You can edit and flip. Okay? I hope that helps. I'm more than happy to do that. Julie, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. You are welcome. You are welcome. So challenge August 8th, 12th. Oh my goodness. Why do I say the 8th? August 12th, the next challenge is the 15th one. If you want to be prepared for that, if you want to have the trio in hand, grab the trio. The glucose product was out of stock. It's not anymore. So don't miss out. I was shipping it out of my house this week just to fulfill orders for people. Okay. So it's not out of stock. You can grab it. All 3 products are available, and then be ready for the challenge and think about where you can be by the end of the year. Like you can have a completely different track to run on. That's really what I do, is I take people on a different track. And you don't have to take my word for it. Follow the testimonies of all the other people. Go on Instagram and look those up, or get into the Facebook group. And when you get in there, look for guide number 4. Guide number 4. Okay. Yeah. If you can't eat traditional foods, all this is processed. It's killing our people. Yes. 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 A lot of type 2 diabetes. It's rampant. I know. That was my entire childhood. My entire childhood, where the men, oh, you're going to Italy next week? Are you serious? You pray you don't dive into pasta. Don't fall in, Julie. Oh, I want to hear all about it. I've been to Italy twice. I love it so much. For me, yes, the pasta, but for me, it's the gelato. Oh my gosh, the gelato is so amazing. Sweetener, yes. What recipe is that? This is for the chocolate pudding, Renee. So the sweetener, what I used was Swerve. And I know this is backwards. I can't flip my camera on. It doesn't matter. Take a screenshot and flip it inside of your camera. The sweetener is, I use Swerve this time, but you can use allulose, you can use stevia. And if it's not sweet enough for you, grab a liquid stevia and like give it a squirt and get it to boost the sweetness. Okay. Julie, where are you going in Italy? I would love to know. We were actually going to go to Italy with friends this year, and we're not going to right now. We're going to do something different. You flipped it. You're welcome. That's good. Yeah. I just, Italy has my heart. Can you hold the recipe right in front of you once again, please? Yes, I can. There you go. Yes, I can. This is an easy, oopsie. This is a very easy recipe. Cook the egg whites however you want to. This is not meant to be made with liquid egg whites that are not cooked. Cook the egg whites. Okay. Do that. And then everything was in a blender. Literally everything was in a blender. And when it comes to the coconut milk in a can, there are 3 different places in Walmart that you can get coconut milk, different aisles, and there are varying prices. So the baking aisle, like maybe an Asian cuisine aisle, and I forget the third one, but I'm just telling you. And then it was literally all made right here. That's how easy this is. And it is as creamy and as good as you think it is. And it is like the stovetop cooked pudding. I'm just saying, it's really good. And it's high protein. It's sugar-free. It'll fill you up. You want your protein in the Facebook group when I'm talking to you guys about food, high protein, moderate, good fat, low carbs. Because once you're insulin resistant, you have to fix what got you into the pickle to begin with. You can't keep doing what you were doing and expect yourself to get different results. You can't do that. But I want to teach people, I want to teach you how to fish. I do not want to just give you a fish. I want to teach you how to fish. How did I trade out my ingredients? Literally the entire reason why I started with supplements, why I started with the trio, the absolute 100% most honest answer I could give you is because I was lazy. And I, like everybody else, potentially wanted a path of least resistance because the last thing that I was going to do was trade out my foods. Like, don't be ridiculous. And I know a lot of people can resonate with that because we are taught how to celebrate with food. I mean, in the Italian family, if you have a choice between going to the wake the night before the funeral or the actual funeral, does anybody know which one you actually choose? If you can only go to one, which one are you choosing? You have so much coconut milk, so you can use it up now. Yes, Renee. Yes. You are teaching business English for 2 weeks. Then Pisa. I've been to Pisa and the Mediterranean in Rome and Tuscany. Oh, I'm so jealous and excited for you. Work in Umbria. So in Tuscany, we stayed in Casa Cornacchi, a villa up in Tuscany. We even took cooking classes. It's amazing. Anyway, so good, Julie. You're just starting your journey. So what is the trio? Absolutely. Funeral. You picked the funeral. You are right. It's the funeral. You were saying the wake. We actually, Penny, we actually do in our family, we actually do the food after the funeral. So basically you do the wake and then the next day you have the funeral. And then usually back in the day anyway, something catered, really good Italian food, usually from a family friend, because somebody in the family probably owned an Italian restaurant. My dad used to own Italian restaurants here in the cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul, when I was a little girl. So I was raised with Italian food, Italian restaurants. Every time you had a party, you invited everybody, like you had a party at your little Rambler in the suburb that had one bathroom. You just invited everybody over and you made the pasta was on the stove and the sauce was going and you just ate and ate and ate. That was my life. So the funeral was you always did the funeral. What is my favorite flavor that I use in your bread? Let me think about that, but I do want to answer the question about the trio. So, you dropped your phone and missed taking the pic. You're so sorry, but can you hold it up one last time? I will do that for you. Absolutely. You're Irish. The wake is the big food and lots of alcohol. So the Irish is different. Okay. So there, I'm going to hold that up. So the trio, when I took my path of least resistance in my 40s, basically I my mom would not leave me alone about my sugars. And it's because my dad died when I was 30. And so he did it all. She spent most of her life married to somebody who needed a lot of medical attention because he was just going south in his health, heart surgeries and kidney dialysis, and you name it. The last 10 years of his life was not very functioning, very happy. And so in my 40s, about 15 years after he died, she could see my weight going to another level in the wrong direction. And she was like, Kirsten, do you even go to the doctor? Do you even ever get your sugars checked? Do you know where they are? And then she would be just on me. What, like, are you thirsty all the time? Are you peeing all the time? Asking me all of those type 2 questions. So I started to take supplementation, and you can text the trio right there and it'll give you information. Or you can, text me and say, I have questions. But these 3 basically helped my internal system to function, but I didn't know that's what it was going to do. And you can't lose weight if you have high sugars or high insulin. Now, I didn't know any of this. So I start doing this. And I'm like, hey, mom, look at what I'm doing. Ha, ha, ha. She said, oh, okay. She was not a supplementer. That was not her generation at all. Like, that was not in her wheelhouse. And it wasn't in mine either. I was very much just taking ibuprofen, et cetera. And so when I did that and it worked, I had to figure out why it worked. And so that began my geekiness about why do we fill in nutritional deficiencies and things work? Why can we target things and they work? And I wanted to understand because my dad was on so many meds when he died. It would take him all morning just to get his injected insulin and all of his meds on his Lazy Susan to interact and play nice with each other before he was safe to drive. So now I talk to people about this literally every single day. And like I said, there was a lady who she texted me yesterday and said, I've been watching you for a whole year. And I finally just purchased the trio and I'm excited because it takes us a while sometimes to get our brains to wrap around something that's so simplistic, right? But I just know that there are a lot of people on injections right now and potentially you're losing muscle. There's no muscle loss. There's no muscle loss. Why would there be muscle loss? You're feeling why would there's no. But yet on the other hand, I'm going to tell you something because this was the conversation I had on the phone yesterday. I'm telling all of my friends what's going on. Will you do a Zoom for me where we can all get on the same Zoom and you can teach them about the trio? I can't believe how my appetite is under control and I do not crave the things I've been craving. This was my conversation yesterday. This was somebody who has been on it for 3 weeks and 3 months. 3 months. She's off of 2 BP meds and she has lost 10 pounds. And I said, well, isn't that interesting? What you're describing is the same thing that people are saying when they're on the shot. She said, I can't believe how taking a natural route does the same thing. Now, I'm not making any claims. I'm just telling you about the conversation we were having because I hear it all the time. Oh my gosh, I was able to pass up donuts twice last week at my workplace. Oh my gosh, why am I not craving things before I go to bed? Now, is that everybody? No, but I'm just telling you, like, fill in nutritional deficiencies. This is not rocket science. And I know that the only answer you ever get when you go to a provider is a script. I know it. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. And don't take my word for it. Like I'm just somebody who I did this and avoided it. I avoided type 2. So I don't have that type 2 credibility that you're looking for, but do you know where it is? It's in the highlight bubble on my Instagram page. It's in guide number 4 in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. All of the testimonies, not all of them, a good chunk of them are in there. Go read those for yourself. And then choose that this is the day you're not going to self-sabotage. Choose that this is the day. And then when you register with your name and check the box for the perks and get points for your products. That they're actually going to be they're actually going to be shifting and giving you better opportunity for shipping, and the points will go away. So quickly cash them in. Like do that. Somebody let me know that. Yes, that's what was in my hand. Thank you for asking that question. Yes, the trio. I just set them down. Let me grab them again. This is the trio. And the reason why I show them is because I want you to know that they're not horse pills. People like to see the sizes because they want to know that these aren't horse pills. I do have a joint supplement that is horse pillish. Works like a freaking charm, but I'm just telling you, those are big. 2 in the morning and then 2 later in the day. Those are big. These are not. So that's why I show these, because I know people want to see these. So that is the trio. So the favorite flavor in my bread, I don't have an answer for that, Renee, because I've tried so many. I go with what I am craving in the moment. If I had to pick one, maybe, I love almond and I love orange. Those are my 2 favorites so far. Almond, because I just love I'm Swedish, right? My mom was 100% Swedish. My dad was 100% Italian. So you would go into like a bakery and you have those like almond danishes. So that almond flavor for me has a lot of tied memories. But then orange is like, for me, that's Christmassy. And I love orange bread. Like that makes me happy, especially if you're making the orange bread and then you're using like a glaze of like the swerve and a little bit of cream and then putting glaze on it. That's kind of happy. I don't know what I said, Deborah. That's so funny. You never know what I might say, but you're so funny. You're excited to make the recipes. Good. Good. I'm so glad. You have to sign off now. See you later, Deb. You have something to do. Do you have to pay to register on that page? I don't know. No. On my site to get, no. This is just my website to order products. So it's my first and last name.com, kirstenliebelt.com. That's what I'm talking about. When you actually, like, if you need information on the trio and I send you information on the trio and you're going to go order them, register with your name is just all my point. My point was that if you're registering for these 3, register with your name. If you feel like your questions have not been answered today, you have a different question that I didn't address, you want a cart that has more than just the trio in it because you know you want to talk to me about the carb blocker or the ashwagandha or the turmeric or whatever, you can just message me and I'll send you a customized cart, okay, to help you with that. I don't want anybody to, what are they? They are basically trace minerals and herbs that help the inside of your body to function at a different level. So they each have an ingredient that helps with insulin sensitivity. So this is this was my journey. And then it took me a long time to share it out loud with other people to go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. Because when you can open up your cell, when you can work on things at a cellular level, then you are actually able to get glucose into your cell so that you have energy, but also too, so that you can stop producing way too much insulin, having a high inflammation and storing it as fat. So that's what that is. It's just a natural way. Was my mother blonde? Yes, out of a bottle. My natural hair is more like my eyebrows. Probably a little darker than that. My natural hair is actually quite dark. This is pretty light, actually, Julie. So when you go to Italy, in the northern part, in Tuscany, they are definitely more light. They're more fair and they have lighter hair. But when you go down to southern Italy, Calabria, that's where you see the darker hair and the darker sauce. And that's me. That's my connection. When we went down to southern Italy, we were like, oh, our people, look at there. They look so much different. But I think the northern was more invaded by the rest of Europe. They procreated out of the rest of Europe. So that's how that goes. Blonde out of a bottle. I know. Well, that's true because my mom, she dyed her hair until literally the very, very end. She was blonde forever. And people would say, oh, look at your granddaughter has blonde hair just like you. And she'd be like, but no, she was more brown. And then my dad was dark. And my sons, One of my sons very much is the Italian, and he has a very dark beard and he has very dark hair. He's 29, so he's at the height of his rich darkness of color in his hair. And so he looks like the rest of the Italian family, very much so. It's really kind of fun. The Italian men like the Swedes. Yeah, and they do not have boundaries, Julie. They do not have boundaries. When we went in 96, so my dad, full Italian, he was the son of an immigrant. And when we went in 96, the first time I went, it was because he had died in 95. So as a family, we went over there. We sold his business, which was a furniture business at the time, and we went to Italy. And it was just it takes you back. It takes, like, you're flustered at how forward. I literally, you guys, okay. I never know if I got guys watching, right? Just saying, Facebook. But literally, like, we were at a dinner and a waiter is serving us our food. And how old am I at the time? Well, I'm 31 because my dad died. I was 30. So I'm 31. And literally the guy serves food and squeezes me up here as he's serving the food, as if that's okay. I'm like, I think I've just been violated. And the pinching in general of the rear was very shocking. I didn't understand that at all. Like, what are you doing? That's not acceptable. So anyway, I don't know if it's still there. It's still that way. Then we went back in like 10 years later. And oh man, yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back. Like I said, we were going to go with friends and whatever. We shifted things, but I'll be back. Italy is such a special place. And now I want to go to the way southern tip, and I also want to go to the way northern tip. The northern tip would be like the Milan area, and the way southern tip, of course, is Sicily. So we will get there. We will. Yeah, it's still that way, Julie says. Oh my gosh, it's so obnoxious. It's so, like, your hands off of me. It's really just obnoxious. Anyway, whatever. That was a tangent. Thanks, Julie. You're so funny. Oh, I don't know where that is. Lecce in the south? I don't know what that is. Or is it how would you pronounce that? Well, CI is cha. So LECCE. I don't know what that would be. But anyway, yeah, we did. We went down to Piopi, and then some of our group went over to Bari because his family was from Bari, but we were in Calabria for a while, that region, and that was lovely. It was very fun. Anyway, so if anybody needs anything today, make sure that you reach out to me, okay? I want to make sure that I get everybody taken care of. Don't stop yourself if you feel like you're supposed to reach out to me, okay? Don't do that. Let's get ready for the August 12th challenge. It's the 15th one. And if you need testimonies, jump over to IG. Take 5 minutes out of your day. 5 minutes is all it would take you out of your entire day. And if you don't have IG on your phone, that's okay. Ask a friend. Say, just bring up Kirsten Liebelt. Just bring her up and look at the pink highlight bubble and search through it yourself. If you're in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance, or if you get in there today, if I let you in there today, because I think I'm the one doing that, right? So go ahead and look at guide number 4 and get your hopes up. Get encouraged that this can be a different route for you. This can be a different track for you to run on literally for the rest of the year 2024. And you will be in a completely different place as you go into New Year's. You won't be scrambling in your brain or in your emotions because you will have gotten a handle on it long before the candy season of Halloween to Easter started. I'm just telling you, you can be in a completely different place. And the track is, let's start with targeted supplementation. Let's talk about ingredient trade outs, and then let's do a challenge every month in the Facebook group. And then you can conquer that month that you're in, and then we'll do another month and another month and another month, and you will see your own results. So reach out. Oh, Lecce. Very cool. I'm going to look that up on my map. So reach out, let me know if you need anything today, and I will be helping you guys with your carts. I'll be helping you guys with any questions that you have. And I'll probably be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I might set myself up to, and it's Central Standard Time. I have raspberries in the freezer from my daughter. She has 5 acres. And so I'm thinking about taking the egg white bread that we made yesterday and turning it into danishes. And that's just a Maria Emmerich thing, and maybe making some raspberry danishes out of the egg white bread, which is protein. It's egg, whatever. It's high protein, but it's no grain, and it's amazing. So there you go. All right. See you guys later. Have a super blessed day. Thanks for hanging. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will chat with you very soon. All right. See you later. Bye, Instagram. Okay. And Facebook. See you later. Make sure you can drop comments, and I will see them when I'm done. And TikTok, you have to either jump over to IG or you have to text me, because I can't send things on TikTok.